Good morning, children. Today we are going to do part 2, that is stanza number 3 and 4 of the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. Now, as these are very important, first we are going to take an overall view of both the stanzas and then we are going to go for the line to line explanation. Children, we are going to do stanza number 3 and stanza number 4. In this, we are going to read that the children of the slum are fighting the battle of life unarmed. They are troubled by disease and despair. For them, Shakespeare is wicked and Map a bad example. The literary excellence of Shakespeare and the scenic beauty portrayed in the Map cannot relieve them from their despair. That is hopelessness. For these slum children, literary excellence is far-fetched, that is beyond their reach, and hence seems wicked. The map on the wall gives them false aspirations as it makes them aware of the beautiful world given by God. The world of these children is confined to the narrow streets of the slums. Therefore, map is a bad example for them. They feel cheated in being deprived of the thrilling sensations of the sun, the ships, and the emotions of love. And the love, they symbolize joy and happiness for these children that they are deprived of. These children are struggling there among the garbage they live. Their life is also a hell that we are going to read because they are considered as wasters. They are malnutritioned and malnourished children. They look like skeletons as their bones peep through the thin skins. The poet feels their life is like bottle bits on stone because they are shattered and broken like bits of bottle on the stone. They are deprived of the basic amenities of life and they live among the nightmares. Then slums are reality for these children. They cannot locate the slum in the map and therefore map serves a bad example for them. Although more, the poet ends on a note of positivity and wants opportunity to be available to these children, the people who strive for knowledge, and he says that they can only create history. So these children should also be brought out of the slums. The poet hopes that these children will break free from their morbid life, from the chains of the slum. He appeals to those in the power to liberate these children from the miserable slums and enable them to breathe in the fresh, beautiful, and healthy environment. So he ends on a positive note in this poem that the administrative machinery of the school should gear up and take out these children from the slum where they are living in the slither and slog to make both ends meet. So these children should be taken out and their world should be a dream world, a beautiful world, not of a false aspiration. They should be given formal as well as informal education. And the poet visualizes freedom for these children and he wants a carefree life where they can get economic, social justice and where they have the right to be happy. So these slum children should be able to enjoy the fundamental right of education and to live among the children of their own age. Let's begin the third stanza of the poem, children. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal. For lives that slyly turn in their crammed holes from fog to endless night. On the slag heap these children wear skins, peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. In this stanza, Spender says that Shakespeare is not noble for them, not a good example for them. It means the picture that is hung of the Shakespeare on the wall is unliked by them. It is meaningless for them. The map is also a bad example for these children of the slum. The reason, according to the poet, is that Shakespeare has written in his literature about the elite group of the society. He talks about their comfort, luxury, their richness, and many other things. If you read Othello or Romeo Juliet or many other literature that he has written, and map that shows these people about the world that is outside slum is also not a good example to show them. Why? Because these maps that talk about Shakespeare's literature talk about ships, sun, love, and many other things. These things, children, they serve as temptations to them. Stealing is only one example, children. Otherwise, there are many other things. These people, they become dacoits, robbers, murderers, because they are tempted to do something evil to get these things. So he says that if we are going to show them these good things, they will be tempted, and as they cannot get these things in a good manner, they will be following an evil way to get them. So that is serving them, that is serving them a wrong temptation. Now their lives slyly, secretly turn in their crammed holes. Crammed holes is the slum, children, where they reside and live their life. So why secret and why the word turn is used in this line? According to the poet, these people take birth in the slum and secretly, without being known to the society that is outside the slum, these people die secretly. So nobody comes to know in the outside world about their birth or about their death. Nobody is bothered also to know. From fog to endless night means their life begins in fog and it continues to remain in complete darkness, and their life ends in darkness. On their slag heap means the body of the child, the malnourished or undernourished child, is compared to a collection of garbage or waste material. Why? Because he is malnourished. So, as you know, children, the malnourished children, they have the grated bones. So, as when we grate something, there is a heap or a collection that is prepared. In the similar manner, these children, they are wearing the body. Like here it is written, these children, they wear skins. The skin is worn by them, as the imagery has been taken from clothes. As we wear clothes, these children are wearing the skins on the grated bones, on the bent bones, on the stunted bones, and spectacles of steel. Now, why spectacles of steel? Steel, the low cost spectacles these children are wearing, and as they are malnourished, therefore they are wearing the spectacles with mended glass. The spectacle is also having the mended glass, means the glass was broken. The mended glass means that the glass was broken and then it was stuck together. Now it appears to the poet that on a stone somebody has broken a glass bottle. So when a glass bottle is broken on the stone, and here and there the bits, the glass pieces, they lie scattered here and there, when the poet watches intently the faces of the children who are malnourished and wearing those low cost spectacles, it appears to him that somebody has broken a glass bottle on the stone. Stone here is the lifeless pupil in the eye. All of their time and space are foggy slum. Children, that they are confined to slum, they are delimited to the slum, therefore they have to spend their complete time in the slum. They are not allowed to go anywhere outside in the world beyond slum. So blot their maps with slums as big as doom. Now their map says here their life. Now this slum has become a blemish, a blot in their life. So wherever they go, they are considered to be a slum dweller, and moreover they are not allowed to move outside the slum. And so here the poet says that this slum has made their life a hell. It has created a disaster in their life. They are not allowed to enjoy the privileges that are there in the outside. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break, oh break open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields, and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open, history theirs whose language is the sun. According to the poet, till the governor, inspector, or any visitor would not move into these kind of slum schools, the conditions of these children cannot be improved. This map becomes their window, means that whatever they can see through the window, that is only their life. Means their life is confined to slum. That dirty life, that underprivileged life, that malnutrition life, or whatever they are suffering in their life, that is only their life. And these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Catacombs are the underground graves, children. Now in the catacombs, what happens that people are buried and forgotten. A large stone can be put on the ground. Poetic device simile is used here. Break, oh break open till they break the town. In this line, poetic device, refrain or repetition is used. The poet says that one should break the windows so that these people can come out and enjoy the beauty of the nature. Otherwise, they themselves will come and break the town. Children, there is a psychological disease called delinquency. According to that, those people who suffer in their life, they try to take revenge when they get a little strong or when they grow up. So these people, as they are underprivileged section of the society, if they are not given opportunities for growth and development in their life, proper education, etc., then they might come on their own and break the whole town, break the whole world by becoming smugglers, dacoits. They will forcibly come into our lives and spoil our lives. Show the children to green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands. The children of the slum school, they should be shown green fields. Now in the slum, they cannot see the fields green because they are living in a foggy place and they don't have the natural beauty, natural surroundings. So their world should not be delimited to the slum, confined to the slum. They should be taken out of that place and they should be shown the limitless world around. And gold sand. The sand will appear to be gold only in the presence of sunlight. So that natural beauty, that premises, these people should be also given the privilege of. Let their tongues run naked into the books, the white and the green leaves open. Let their tongues run naked into the books means that let them be as much educated as they can. Allow them to get the education that they want. Now, white and green leaves. See here, children, white is formal education, the education that we get in the school, college, university, the formal education. The other is green leaves, that is informal education. Children, we have learned in the first stanza also that the children are reading from their desk about the diseases. Now take an example of the NCERT books. Now the government provides these books free of cost to those people who are the slum dwellers. Now then, along with that formal education, if they are not educated in a informally, they are not made to understand how to use their education or that education, they are not given the opportunity to use that education, not no proper employment is given to them, they are not allowed to come out of the slum and grow in the life among us, then it might be possible that their condition is not improved and they turn out to be criminals. So children, according to the poet, both formal and informal education is necessary. Formal education we get from the books and informal education we get from living among the people, staying among the people of good cadre or elite group, you can say, of the society. The etiquettes, good manners, from where do we learn? We learn by remaining among the good people. So here he says that though the government is providing them with the formal education, but informal education is also required so that they understand how to use that formal education by remaining among the elite group of the society. History there whose language is the sun. Sun, as I said, is symbol of knowledge, awareness, enlightenment. So according to the poet, those people are only able to create history who have received good education, knowledge, enlightenment, awareness. And from where that would come? By making these people also allow to remain with us in our world, adding these people also into our world. So this is all about the poem, children. Run, run in the consecutive lines. In last third and the last second line, the word run is used as the first word. Here, this poetic device is known as anaphora.